Hello! We today are going to be working on a few ornaments, and these are going to be a little bit different because I typically really like the vintagey, grungy stuff, but I got these little cat stickers from Temu and been trying to think of how I can use them, and I think they'll look really cute to make some little ornaments for my Christmas tree. Don't have to be for the Christmas tree. You could just use it as a small piece of hanging art. Excuse me. Yeah, stickers, kitty stickers. I have grabbed a little pile of the Tim Holtz Field Notes tiny ephemera snippets and some little nature type tags or tickets. They're little stickers, and grabbed some cute papers to cover the background with. So we're going to do a little collaging and do some inking. I typically tend to use kind of the more neutral colors, the archival vintage photo or ground espresso, walnut stain, those kinds. But I have recently, they had a fabulous sale, and so I got some new oxides. This forest moss I've had for a little bit. I've got chipped sapphire, broken china, a pretty, pale blue speckled egg, and this really cool wilted violet. I don't use these colors very often, but I wanted to find a way to use them. So I'm going to use those today. I'm going to cover the base of these in these kind of specialty textured papers. And to do that, I'm going to use some matte medium. Oh, that's pretty big. Use some matte medium so that we can get it well stuck and sealed down very nicely to add onto the top. So we are going to get started. Get some of this stuff a little out of the way. Grab my matte medium. I have ruined so many brushes with the matte medium. So one of the things that I purchased is one of these silicone brushes, and they work really nice. It's got quite the shadow. They work really nice because you just peel it off when you're done. So we're going to use that. I want to get all of my bases on first. So let's grab some of our medium. I'm going to put it right on these wooden ornaments, right on the base. Don't need a ton. Set that down. Let's go ahead, and then we will just trim the edges when we are done. Off. I'm going to do a very thin layer on top. Oh, too much on my little brush here. So thin layer on top seals it in really nicely, and this is when you can really press and get all those bubbles out. Now, one of the things, and it makes a mess, but one of the things I like to do is just go over it with my finger. Really press it down. Make sure we've got a nice flat surface to work on when we're done. So we'll set this guy aside. There are a lot of different kinds of matte medium that you can get. I've had good luck with the Liquitex brand. But it can get a little pricey if you use a lot of it. So I grabbed myself the Dick Blick brand here to help cut down some of the cost on that front. I don't typically do a lot of multiple items at the same time. I often go, one thing at a time. Oh, that might be a little, oh, it'll fit. I typically just make one thing at a time. It's soaked in, we need more. But today I got kind of excited about my cat stickers. So we are going to do 4 at a time today. Some more medium. Really get that soaked through so as it soaks into that wood underneath, it makes a nice seal. Checking for bubbles again, and we will set that one aside. One more. Now I've got a pink, I've got some green, I've got a pale yellow. I think that purple looks awfully nice. One of the hardest things I think about doing this kind of project is to not overthink. I said not easy. I'm a big what if person, and so this type of project actually helps me out a lot with that. It can be difficult to just make a decision. And so these types of projects are super helpful in that a lot of times there's no right answer. It is just multiple options can be the right choice. So I have to consider how long I take to make a decision, and I'm hoping that maybe making these videos will help with that. No time to hem-haw and overanalyze. That closed up and out of my way. So I'm hoping that this will help with that issue. Okay, I'm going to wipe this guy off. Set him to the side. And hopefully this is not terribly loud. I'm going to go ahead and use my heat gun here. Just let's see, what is this? Dairy heat tool, and swipe over these quick for a quick dry so we can move on. I'm going to pause you for a second, and I will be right back when they're dry. All right, we are all dried. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. You can trim around with scissors. I like the trick of just using an old nail file. Use at a pretty stiff angle. You can go through and just get it right off. We'll be inking our edges, so don't need to worry about that. This works good if you're working on something, you know, thick. Gotta be a little more careful if you're working on something thin. You'd probably be better off with trimming these with scissors at that point. And then end up with a quick method for getting a nice clean edge. So I am going to trim up the rest and we'll be right back. All right, I got most of them trimmed up. I did because I used obviously a square piece of paper. I've got a little bit of overhang there, so I'm going to although I didn't get glue on the top part, so I'm going to very carefully trim this off. And if it isn't absolutely perfect, that is also okay, because we'll have ribbon or fabric or something up here at the top. So we will carefully do that on each one of these. A little hard to see. Using a very inexpensive small utility knife. Let's see. I'm trying to not dig too deep into that wood underneath. So use an X-Acto knife. If you have a really small pair of scissors, that would work. My scissors are a little too big. And I had this handy, so went with this. Like I said, doesn't have to be perfect. We'll be covering a portion of it up. And that's one of the great things about mixed media is even if you mess up, you cover it. So many layers, so many opportunities to change anything that you're not a big fan of. So now let's make some decisions about which one of our kitties are going to live on each one of these. This guy has so much orange. I think it's pretty and stunning there. We've got some blue in this or this. So we could do that or that. And I like how this brings out, the cat itself has kind of a purple hue. See if you can see that. He's beautiful. I'll put him here and then this guy here. Now it looks like there was a little bit of overprint of another color, so I'm going to very carefully see if we can trim that off without making a giant mess of our circle. It is tough. Any sort of cutting on a circle, obviously, you don't want to. I might get. Not perfect. That might be where one of our other little tickets or tags or flowers go. So, all right, let's see. Who do we want to start with? He's in the middle. Let's start with this friend here. All right. So, I think we should start and see what this does here on the edge. I got a package of these ink blenders. This is the type that I use. You can get lots of different ones. There's tons of brands. I think there were, 10 for $3.25. You want to make sure, now with some of the browns, I know a lot of people will do one inker per color. For the browns, for my dark browns, I typically use the same foam. But these guys, the blues and whatnot that I do have are pretty different. So let's get some ink on here and let's see what we end up with. Let's see if this is going to show. It might be so light that you can't even see it. And I think that might be what we're going to end up with. So we've got pinks, we've got greens. I think let's try some forest moss. That is too blue. And the other blue is too bright. All right, let's give this guy a try. Sometimes we just got to go trial and error and see what we end up with. So let's try some green. Oh yeah, so much better. Love it. Right now, a couple of things we can do on this one. We could just ink as it is. I'm going to give this a try. You can always just put a little scrap piece of paper and carefully this. There are domed inkers that are nice for moving from getting a more gentle blend on the edge. The other thing, let's see if I have one handy. I do. The other thing you can do is use a makeup brush. You can buy pretty large ones that are specific for this, but I just have a couple of small makeup brushes that I got that do kind of the same thing. So you can see, you start on the edge and just start, gives you a nice gentle, put some black on there. Well, that's okay. Once again, don't need perfection. All right, set these guys aside. And now I want to decide what we want in the background. I've got some stamps that will make it look a little distressed. I'm thinking what would be really nice would be a little bit of text. So I've got a couple. I just want to see. I've got this large one. This is another one I got from Temu. So that would put words on like that. Or I also have, also from Temu, I'm thinking this one might look kind of cool, but it might be too, that might be a little too busy. Okay. So I think we'll use this one. What I have here, underneath is just a cheap poster board that I get at the dollar store. So I'm not concerned, clearly, if we get stamp or ink on the back. So now we need to decide what color we want. Do we want to go with a light brown? I think we don't want it to be super overpowering. So I've got this small Distress Ink tea dye quite a long time ago, and I think let's try that. I'm going to do a small piece of scratch paper here. Just out of curiosity, because I love this blue paper, so I don't particularly want to start over. I'm going to test it out. I want to see how dark or not dark this is going to be. Yes, and look at how nicely that matches up with the orange of the cat. Okay. So we are going to do this. Make sure that I've got enough covered to get the whole thing, the whole background covered. I'm sure I overdid it, but let's see if we can get fairly straight. Yes. Fantastic. Love it. Love it, love it. Let's put the extra off here. This might make a nice backdrop for something else. The most ridiculous thing we all do, and I think we're all the same, is we save every scrap of paper. It is so difficult to just throw it away. Not sure why. Probably because we all have that creative thought of, I know I can use that somewhere. All right. Now, I do want to ink the edges as well. But I think I want it, of the cat, but I think I want it a little darker. Not super dark. Let's go with some vintage photo. And this little trick, I don't know why. I had never seen it before or thought of it, but putting your corresponding foam in the bottom works fantastic. For the little ones, of course. For the big ones, not so much. But let's just go with a light inking around the edge. Don't want to be too heavy-handed because I don't want to cover all of the really pretty coloring, but I think it just gives it that little extra bit of pop that looks really cool. Now, do we want something behind him? I don't so much like that one. Go sideways. I don't think so. I think we're going to want something, you know, kind of sitting on top. We can go with a little butterfly or flower, but I think I want to leave that just solid in the background. Well, not solid, but okay. So these are stickers. Let's see if I can get that off. Okay. One of the things that I do want to make sure is that this is going to last for a really long time. So I'm going to add, if I can get it open. I'm going to add some glue along the edge for a little extra staying power. I'm going to start like that. Let's get him pretty centered. I could measure, but I don't. Why? Not sure. Just really don't. I just don't. So let's get him started. He's going to be lovely. Now, see if I can finagle this one. It is a pretty sticky sticker, but just to be sure, I want to help him out a little. Try to see if I can smooth that a bit. Let's give him a nice push down. Keep this guy upside down here so that. All right, let's see. Oh, he's lovely. So pretty. All right, now what do we want? Do we want some flowers? Do we want a butterfly? Oh, that's cute. Kind of big though. Let's see. Oh, I can't pick it up. Okay. I kind of think this is super cute. But where shall we put it? Here? Nope. I think I like him up here. So let's ink the edges just a little bit, get some of that. You can see here, there's this white core. See if you can see that. That white core of the paper that you can see when it's glued down. So I like to just get rid of that. Ends up with just a little cleaner edge. A lot of people like to use, oh goodness, I can't think of the word. Oh my, you're probably screaming at me. What are these? Tweezers. Oh, for the love, tweezers. To do this, I find it harder to maneuver when you have the tweezers. So I tend to, let's see, looks like the light turned off after a while. I tend to like to just go for it with my fingers. I am a very messy crafter, and I will always have dirty fingers, clearly. So I'm going to put him here. All right, we'll do some finishing touches and set that aside to dry. Let's keep going with the next one. All right, so we need to decide what color of ink we want to do. I don't think a blue or a purple is going to be a great choice. Do we want to do a brown? I think we want to do a brown. Let's go on just a little bit of brown. This guy has a couple of touches of brown in there. We could do red, but I think it might be a little much to go red. I think I want to do black. All right, just go for it. Got ground espresso here. It's a little bit of a darker, quite a bit darker brown. Could have gone black. The brown is just a little bit more subtle. Oh, wrong way. Okay, let's get at an angle here that's going to be comfortable to work with. Holy cow. I'm all over the place. All right, let's see. If we can gently build that up. We need just a little more. Go that way. Not super perfect, but again, who needs perfect? Not us. All right. I'm going to use the same because I have it to get that white edge off the sticker. And for this one, we need to decide if we want to go with some text in the background. I do have, oh, no, it's too small. We could also go with a book page or some old music paper. My fear with this is with circles, it's so hard to get it perfect. And this happens to be the exact size of the circle punch that I have. So if I had a slightly bigger one, I would do it, and then we would have our edge just so. But I don't. So we are going to, do we want the same? Again, the decisive, or indecisive, I should say. Indecisiveness. This isn't going to cover it. Nope, we're just going to stay with this. But I do want to do it a little darker this time. So let's grab our paper. Make sure we get enough. To dab enough on here that I can get my full circle. I'm sure I've gone way too far. That is okay. Right. Gently set him down. I do not have a block big enough to do something of this size. Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it. Left a little off, missed a spot right there. Does not matter. Let's clean this guy. Such a beautiful, rich brown. I just love it. Okay, get him out of the way. And let's go ahead and get our, let's get our sticker going. A little farther this time. Sometimes taking just a moment of quiet helps so much when I'm doing my art. It is very much my escape from any sort of difficulty that's going on and overthinking. I think that's looking good for placement. Oh, he might not be exactly straight. Let's turn him. Oh, I had him way off. better. Don't want to go too far with my bend. I don't want to crease him in the middle. Might be up a little high, but he is okay. All right, now there is, got our flowers. Oh, isn't that so pretty? See if we can see all the details. I just love these little things. It's a very nice red. It's pretty kind of cool. Or we've got the black. I'll put him somewhere different than the other one. How about down here? It doesn't stand out a whole lot though. Let's see. Green, blue. We're going to go with this one, and we're going to see if we can get creative about how to make it stand out better. See if we can come up with a trick, because I really do like the red. I think the red looks really nice. All right, could he be hanging off a little? He could, but how much? All right. Cute. All right, now this guy. Wondering if we might want to try a different stamp this time. You know, another thing that you could do if you have any, I've got this printed, screwed together, this printed tissue paper. No, it does not let enough of the black through. So just taking a moment here to think and see if there is another type of stamp that I want to put on, but I'm thinking that we should still stick with this guy, but let's go with black since we've got the dark purple. Let's go with black and see how that does. It might be pretty sharp. What we end up with here. Try to be a little more careful and not get a blank spot this time. Subtle, but nice. We can see just enough. Get our extra off. And, oh, we didn't ink the edges. We'll do that now. Now, do we want to see see if the purple makes any difference. One of the things that is really cool, is really cool about these distress items, the distress inks, are that they are a mixed pigment, and pigment and dye mixed together. Where'd my little piece of paper go? I don't know. I'll grab another one. There are no shortage of scraps around here. Oh, there it is. It's a mixture, so it does show up a lot of times, even on darker. Okay, now I had my I don't know where my tiny brush went. I just, oh, no, I don't know. All right, well, there you go. There it is. I just said it. I am the worst, absolute worst at misplacing things. I'm going to try to go from this way. See if that makes it a little easier. That may or may not show up. If it is, it's very subtle. Yeah, that's not quite enough for the effect that we want. So we're going to get this off, and we are going to go, how about some hickory smoke? Or gray, not quite as stark as the black. Let's see. We might just end up with black. Something, let's give that a try. As I'm just trying out this whole idea of making of the videos, I'm not sure. I think I'm bumping. Sorry about that. I'm not sure how much silence is okay silence, so we'll just play it by ear. I'm going to do it just right on. You know what? We're going to need to cover that anyway, so I'm just going to go right on, blend it down, and we may go back and do the others as well. Yeah, it's a lot easier. All right. Looks to me like hickory smoke was the correct choice. Now, this is pretty saturated. I recently re-inked my, so I want to get a little bit off, and so I don't get too much dark on here. I do not want to lose that beautiful frosty look on the edge. And it's got these really cool details here with the gold. I don't want to cover all that up, so we're going to do that. My fingers are clean-ish for the purpose of this one. And let's go ahead and put him on. If I can get this there. Okay. Let's go with more than half. Oh, see, it pulls the glue right off my fingers. Now, when we do this, do we maybe want, is this one that we might want to add some flowers to? Just thinking of this now as we do placement. I still think he needs to go as close to in the middle as we can get while eyeballing it. Even if we have to cover a little bit of that, those pretty flowers on the edge. I think if we went, this has something sticking out. Let me see if I can get that off. With my tweezers, now that I remember what they're called. There. We don't want any goop hanging out on our pretty cat here. Okay. Looks pretty good. Oh, maybe a little scooch to this side if we can. We might be stuck. That's okay. It's pretty close. Pretty close. I'm trying to get these, right to the edges. These are the times when I think oh man, oh there. When I think it sure would be nice to have the little tiny tip of the art glitter glue. Might be something I need to get here before too terribly long. All right. Oh, so cute. Thankfully, all this glue dries clear, so if we have a little bit of a mess, it's not a terribly big problem. So, let's pick a flower for this lovely lady. It's too wide. The yellow and gold is a little, it's kind of cute. Might be too small though. Here's some pinks with some yellows. Or do we want to go big and bold? This is the kind of overthinking that this is supposed to prevent me from doing. Oh my. That's definitely too big. We could go with a butterfly, but we've done those, so I kind of... All right, we're going to say this is our decision. I don't want to ink this one in black, so let's go back to our brown. And let's grab some vintage photo. White core, make it look just a little bit more finished. Yes. Okay, now down to this guy. And as I was pulling these out, this specific butterfly really caught my attention. So pretty. For this guy, we can go right at the bottom. All right, so let's scooch these out of the way before I look more at them and start to double second guess the choice. All right, let's go back to our forest moss. Take off the purple. Go around this guy. Such a pretty green. There's just something about, I like the pretty bright colors as well, but there's just something about the feeling that these nature colors bring out. I don't know why I didn't ink the other ones. The other tops of these, we'll go back and do that before we are finished. One of the things that I really admire about the other folks that I see doing different mixed media YouTube videos is that they work at such an impressive pace. And that is something that I have real difficulty with, because when I do try to go fast, like I'm trying to hurry now, I see the length of how long we've been on and I'm trying to hurry, and what I did was I just glued this down without inking the edge, which is not going to be a huge deal. It will still look nice. But that is what happens when I try to go a little fast. Oh, I might a little off center as well. However, I don't think it's so bad. Now, I'm recalling that this is the one that we had to trim that red off right here. And so it's got just a little bit of a not perfectly circular edge. So we're going to ink the sky and not forget a little bit of brown, just very quickly. Decide if we want him right in the middle or do we want him covering. Let's have him covering. Just because. I'm going to grab some items for finishing touches and we'll be right back. Okay, so as I was looking for the stuff that we want to do for our finishing touches. I realize that we have got 55 minutes already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this video finished, and we can pick back up probably tomorrow with a decoration portion, because I think we're going to have a lot of fun and I don't want to rush it. So let's call this part 1, and we will call our finish part 2, and I will see you guys all very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.